Hello and welcome again to a broadcast from Courier Broadcasting. We have a guest with us today, Dr. Tony Beam, who is the Director of the Office of Public Policy for the South Carolina Baptist Convention and an icon at North Greenville University, well known throughout the state for his involvement there at North Greenville. He's also my friend. And Tony, welcome today. We're glad to have you with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Always good to be with you.
Thank you, sir. We're going to talk about the upcoming Southern Baptist Convention.
Right.
So let me just kind of set the table with this. This meeting in Nashville could be the largest we've had in over 24 years.
Yeah, that's correct.
Ronnie Floyd stated yesterday there's already over 16,000 pre-registered. Mm-hmm. That goes back to the days of Atlanta, 1995, when we had 20,654. So the largest, of course, was in Dallas. This is in the midst of the conservative resurgence, 1985, when there was 45,000. Well, it looks like it's going to be a big convention. So it's been called the largest business meeting in the world. And a lot of things seem to be in the air. It's happening at this year's convention.
Yes.
And a lot of people are showing up.
Right.
So my first question, you're a trustee at the ERLC.
That's right.
And you've committed now, you've been asked to serve for a second 5-year term.
That's right.
And a lot of news lately has revolved around the former president, just recently resigned, right. Russell Moore. What are your insights? You know, he joined a non-Southern Baptist church, right. And then he became a staff member with a special title. I think it's theologian in residence or something of that nature at Christianity Today. Right. So what are your thoughts revolving around that issue and Dr. Moore?
Well, I know Dr. Moore personally. I would consider him a friend. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of the things that have been said and written about him are unfair. I think a lot of the attacks that have come his way, I've fielded those attacks before as a trustee, and I can tell you that they're not true. He's not a liberal. He's not a Democrat. He's not a lot of things that he's been portrayed as being. I think it's unfortunate that the letters that have been released to the public simply because the first letter that he wrote was at a time when he was hurt and he was talking to the executive committee of the trustees. And we spent a good bit of time with him on the phone that day, just ministering to him because of the hurt that he was feeling over some of the things that had been said about him, even things that have been said against his family. So I think Russell has been through a lot. I think that his departure speaks to the fact that he's endured a lot of scrutiny, and he had an opportunity to go. He'd never wanted to be a lightning rod in the Southern Baptist Convention. That was never his purpose. He really wanted to lead the ERLC to be a influential and relevant voice in the culture, speaking to biblical truth. And to me, that's always been his goal. But right now, I think the most important thing is that the work of the ERLC needs to continue. We need to move on. We need to find a leader. There needs to be the search committee formed, and we need to look for a leader who can restore trust in people who have lost trust in the ERLC, someone who can speak to some of the issues that people have concerns about, and lead us to have a strong voice pushing back against all of the things in the culture that are coming against Christians today. The ERLC has a strong presence in Washington. They actually work behind the scenes with the Trump administration to get things done. Some of the things that the ERLC has done that people don't know about, they've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars and placed ultrasound machines in crisis pregnancy centers around the country. I mean, it's really been amazing, the good work of the ERLC that I think has been overshadowed by a lot of controversy that has swirled around it and around Dr. Moore's leadership. So my encouragement would be that we say that Dr. Moore's tenure at the ERLC is over, and it's time to move forward and find the next leader and strengthen the ERLC for the many of the cultural battles that are going to lie ahead.
Okay. Well, I don't want to belabor the point or open up Pandora's box, but one more thing, and this has to do with the impact his leaving has.
Right.
He wrote a more than 4,000 word letter. It was an older letter, not just immediate. The Washington Post, apparently a lot of people had seen the letter and it has been printed in other mediums. The Washington Post said this: he has single-handedly brought the evangelical world to its need, to its knees.
Yeah.
I can't read my right. To its
right.
knees, charging the Southern Baptist Convention with racism and sexual abuse. That's pretty fiery. If it's true, it's sad.
Right.
So what's your comment on that?
Are there instances of racism and sexual abuse in the Southern Baptist Convention? The Southern Baptist Convention is over, 46,000 churches?
47. Yeah.
47,000 churches. We're talking about 16 million plus people. I have no doubt that there are instances of racism and probably sexual abuse in the Southern Baptist Convention. Now, what we need to do is we need to know where those are. We need to know who's guilty, and we need to deal with it in a straightforward manner. When you begin to level accusations like that, I think it's important that those accusations be backed up by facts and that those accusations be investigated in a way that gives Southern Baptists the peace of mind to know that this is not something that's going to be tolerated if it's going on in our convention. But as far as the Washington Post editorial comment that he's brought the evangelicals to their knees or brought the Southern Baptist Convention to its knees, unless they're talking about that we should be on our knees in prayer about these things, I would push back against that and say that I think that's an overstatement.